So in today's session, we'll discuss about the content objects. Let me log into HANA. So click on the remote desktop connection, provide the IP address, click connect. So for the first few minutes, let me explain about what is the use of content. So if you go to HANA Studio, we have systems. Under system, we have catalog, and the other one is content. So under content, we have packages. Or a package. Under package, we have information views. Under package, we have information views. Now, content is nothing but collection of packages, and package is a collection of information views. Now, especially if you see in catalog area, when you have catalog is a collection of schema. Catalog is a collection of schemas, and schema is a collection of different database objects. Now, for example, let us take one schema. Let us take a schema as ECC, wherein you have all the tables related to ECC over here. Again, in ECC, you have different applications like sales. Again, in sales, you have orders, deliveries, billing. In finance, you have account receivables, general ledgers, account payables. Now, in schema, how we are grouping according to the source system. According to the system, in packages, we are going to group by application. So in here, you have a package for sales and distribution, wherein you have all the information views that belong to this subject area. You have a package for HR. Again, in HR this is a main package, and again in HR, you can create sub packages. Again, in this, you have like payroll, time management, succession planning. You can create sub packages under this. So the main use of packages are nothing but to group together related information. Packages are used to group together related information. So these are called main packages. Under main package, you can have sub package. So what you can do is you can create one main package as ECC. Under ECC, you can have sales and distribution, HR, finance, and again under sales and distribution, you can create another sub package for orders, deliveries. In this way, we can create. So first, what I'm going to show you is how to create a package, and later we are going to see what are these information views and how we can use these information views. So first let me log into HANA. Let us log into HANA. Click on HANA Studio. Let's expand the instance. Expand content. So this is catalog. So this is catalog yesterday. So under catalog you have schemas. So this is schema. To expand the schema, you have tables. So under these tables, expand the schema, tables. Under these tables you have different tables, different standard tables like KNA1, MARA, T005T, all different standard tables. Now if you close the catalog, under catalog you see content. Under catalog we see content. So under content these are different packages. So let me right click on the content, click new, click on a package. Now let's give a name for the package. Let's say the name for the package is I'm just taking the name as July 5th ECC. So July and today's date, and this is the source system. So let's give the description for this. So first is the name, technical name. The second one is the description. The third one is a delivery unit. Now what is a delivery unit? Now if you see, we are trying to associate packages to delivery units. We're trying to associate packages to delivery units. So delivery units are nothing but they're basically used to transport objects from development to QA and to production, pre-production and production. So when you have a landscape where in HANA you have development, when you want to move these objects from development to quality and to pre-production and finally to production, we use a delivery unit. So delivery unit is basically used to move objects. So one delivery unit, you can associate multiple packages. You can associate package 1, package 2, package 3. You can associate multiple packages associate to a delivery unit. This is something like in SAP transport request. In SAP how we have transport request, the same way delivery units help us to transport. So when you transport these delivery units, all the packages 1, 2 and 3 will be in QA. Then we test and then to pre-production and finally to production. So let me come back to the HANA Studio. So we are giving the name, description. We need to associate these packages to a delivery unit later to transport these packages from one system to the other system. So all these are the existing delivery units, but we're not going to do it now. I'm going to show in the later stage. So if you see in here, you can create delivery units. You can create a delivery unit. After creating a delivery unit, we can associate the delivery unit to these packages. So we'll see when we discuss about lifecycle management. And this is the original language, English, and the person who is responsible to create this package, who is HANA user. And click OK. So once we click OK, then in here we see the package that we just created. So we created a package called ECC. Under ECC, we can create sub-packages. Let me create some sub-package. Let's come back to ECC. Right-click on ECC. Click New. And create one more package. Let's say Sales and Distribution. Click OK. Right-click New. Click on the package. HR. Click OK. Click on the package. FI. So again in Sales and Distribution, you can create sub-package again. So controlling profitability analysis, COPA. So if you see the definition of a package, packages are used to group together related information objects for structuring purpose. So basically they are used to group together related information. Coming to the next one. So we created these packages. So under package you have information views. Now what is a view? A view is an object which accesses data only in runtime. It physically does not contain content but only accesses the content at runtime. Now especially in HANA, if you see, schema contains tables. Schema contains tables. And packages contain information views. So views don't contain data. So views access data in runtime from these tables. And these tables are columnar tables. These tables, primary storage is on memory. The tables are accessed in views in runtime, and these views are processed in data processing engines. So these views are processed in. So what I'm trying to say over here is tables are separated from views and views are separated from data processing engines. A view is an object which only accesses data in runtime. So coming to these views, now you know these views, there are views which handle master data. There are views which handle transaction data. Especially if you see tables, again in tables as well, you have tables like KNA1, which stores customer master information. We have tables like VBAK, which contains transaction data. So this table contains transaction data and this table contains master data. So in order to handle master data tables, we use views which handle master data. Technically, these are known as attribute views. So views access data in runtime. Views which handle master data tables, these views are known as attribute views. Tables which contain transaction data, views which handle transaction data, these are known as analytic views. So these views are also known as information views. A view which contains master data information is known as attribute view. A view which contains information about transaction data is known as analytic view. These master data or the transaction data can process data on data processing engines. So just to highlight over here, tables are separated. Tables where physical content is available. This content is accessible via these views, and these views execute on data processing engines. So let us discuss about first what is an attribute view. So here you have an attribute view. Click on this. Attribute views are the reusable dimensions or subject areas used for business analysis. You can also use attribute views to join. The important keyword over here is master data tables. So in an attribute view, the important keywords over here are reusable dimension. That is the first important keyword. The second important is to join master data tables to each other. So simply a definition of an attribute view would be it's a reusable dimension to join master data tables. So what is a reusable dimension? Now we know a reusability is nothing but to share. Now what is a dimension? A dimension is nothing but the perspective at which you would like to analyze data. Now for example, I'll just try to discuss one scenario over here. Let's say you have different subject areas. A subject area that belongs to customer information. A subject area that belongs to material. Company code. And based on time. Now, you would like to analyze what is my gross revenue, what are my sales deductions, and what's my net revenue. These are nothing but the measures or transaction data. Transaction data is a data that basically changes on daily basis, just like debit and credit in our account. Master data is a data that's not going to change frequently, but it does change, but not as frequently as transaction data. So master data, for example, like what is my phone number, what is my address, all these are master data. I think most of you are familiar. Just to discuss very quickly. So master data is a data that's not going to change frequently, and transaction data is a data that's going to change frequently. These are called as measures, and these are called as attributes. So what are we trying to do over here is, now when you ask a question, who are my top customers, then on what dimension are we trying to analyze? We're trying to analyze on a dimension which is customer. So based on customer, answer the question, which customers give top revenues? Also, let us try to analyze based on material, analyze my top revenues. Now for this quarter, when you compare with last 5 years quarters, which quarter is the best quarter for last 5 years? You're trying to analyze revenue by time. You're trying to analyze based on company code, which is the top company code. So what are we trying to do? We can reuse master data not only for actual net revenues, you can also plan net revenue. For example, what should be my gross revenue for the next year or the coming year when I plan. This is for 2014. For 2015, sorry, this is 2015. So 2016, I would like to plan for 2016. For the first quarter, what should be my gross revenue? Or I would like to plan based on different materials. For 2016, what should be my gross revenue? So what we are trying to do, we are trying to share customer information not only with actuals, but also with plan. Also, we are trying to share data with plan data. So I'm just trying to explain the keyword, what is a reusable dimension? Reusability is nothing but to share the customer information not only to one subject area, but across different subject areas. You can share customer information for sales and distribution. You can share customer information with finance. Nothing but to share master data. A dimension is nothing but in what perspective you would like to analyze the data, the angle in which you would like to see the data. Now here I would like to see based on customer, based on material, based on time, based on company code. Now you also could ask questions, what customers are purchasing what materials, in which year, they belong to which company code. So you can ask these kind of questions as well. So these kind of questions when we ask, these are called as a multi-dimensional questions. So this is one dimension, but when we ask questions, if these questions belong to different dimensions or different subject areas, when you're trying to analyze transaction data based on different subject areas, These are known as, this is known as a multi-dimensional question. So again, coming back to the original definition, attribute views, attribute views are the reusable dimensions or the subject areas. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to do business analysis. You can also use attribute views to join master data tables to each other. So let us take a quick example from the business scenario. Let us take one quick example from the business scenario and let us start to build these attribute views. So whenever we are working on the projects, whenever a client gives a requirement, you can modify the existing models or you can enhance the existing models or you can create as a new development. So first I'm going to show you how to create from the scratch as a new development. Also how we can enhance these existing models at the later point of time. SAP gives these as standard solutions. So they basically give standard solutions in the form of RDS, rapid deployment solution. So they have rapid deployment solutions for sales, for finance, for HR. So all the standard models are already provided by SAP. If you want, we can tweak those models based on the business requirement, or you can create, if there is entirely a different requirement, you can start to create from scratch. So first I'm going to show you how these models are created from scratch, and later we'll see how these are actually integrated, how these different data models are integrated with the front-end applications. So let us start building this. So building from scratch. So to build this, I'll take one example. So let's say the requirement is something like this from the customer. The customer wants us to build I'll take a new notepad. Let me take a new notepad. Sorry, paint. So customer is actually giving this requirement, client is giving this requirement. So this is one of the basic example I'm trying to show you. It's a very basic example. I would like to see what is my company code ID, name of the company code, what's my sales organization, name of the sales organization, the currency in which the company code is operating. The currency in which the company code operates, and what's the name of the currency. So this is a simple example. Now we know if you see any of the enterprise structure, if you see any of the enterprise structure in SAP, the standard enterprise structure, you have operating concern. Under operating concern, you have different controlling areas. Under each controlling area, you have different company codes. You have company code. Under each company code, you have different sales organizations. Again, from sales perspective, you have different distribution channels. So this is nothing but the standard enterprise structure in SAP. So what are we trying to analyze here? We're trying to analyze for company codes, what are the different sales organizations, and each company code operates in what currency. This is just I'm taking one of the requirement here. So now in order to build this, first we need to understand where this information is located in SAP. Now you know this information is located basically in the company code information is located in T001, sales organization TVKO, the text for sales organization is in TVKOT, and the currency is in TCURT. So the company code table T001, sales organization information is in TVKO, the text for sales organization TVKOT, and the currency TCURT. So these are nothing but the text tables. And these are the attribute tables. An attribute table for a company code and the attribute table for sales organization. And both has text. Now just to give you one basic concept I would like to discuss over here. Now you know this master data is especially subdivided into three types. One is attributes. Here we call it as attribute. The second one is text, and third one is a hierarchy. Now what are attributes? Attributes which gives more details about an entity. Attributes are something which gives more details about an entity. For example, if you take customer, now customer address is what? It gives more details about a customer. So if the customer is Raju, so where does customer Raju stay? Or what country he belongs to? Or what region he belongs to? So an attribute is something which gives more details about a particular entity. Text are something where in SAP we store text data in different text tables because we would like to show these texts which are language specific. We would like to show this text which are language specific. So descriptions are stored in different languages in these text tables. For example, let's take Delhi. So Delhi is a description which is in English, but the same Delhi would not be understood by Chinese user. So you would like to store Delhi in even Chinese language. So this is nothing but the text. And third one is a hierarchy. A hierarchy is nothing but to define parent and child relationships. Now if you have material group on the top, under material group you have different materials. So you're trying to group different materials where you can define parent and child relationships. Or let us take a time hierarchy. A time hierarchy is nothing but you have year, you would like to analyze data based on year. Under each year, you would like to analyze based on quarter, based on month. So master data is basically subdivided into three types: an attribute, which gives more details about an entity, like what is Raju's country, what is his phone number, what city he belongs to. Text, description stored in multiple languages, because a Chinese user doesn't understand English and English user doesn't understand Chinese. So we would like to show descriptions based on user session, based on different users. And a hierarchy is nothing but to define parent and child relationships. So in here, now when I'm taking this example, so first, now we know these are attribute tables. T001 is an attribute table because it gives more details about company code. And TVKO is a sales organization attribute table because it gives more details about sales organization. And these are nothing but text tables where the descriptions are stored in different languages. Okay, so once we basically try to identify the table is an attribute table or a text table, the next thing is we need to identify the relationship between these tables. So basically if you see, so I'm just trying to explain the flow on how SAP has designed this software, how they designed this HANA software with RDS packages, rapid deployment solutions. So what SAP has done is, so they have taken, now let's take this example T001, TVKO, TVKOT and TCURT. Now if you come to the technical details now, in T001 we require BUKRS, which is the company code ID, BU text, which is the text for the company code, sales organization ID, sales organization text, currency ID, and so in here, what is company code ID, what is company code name, what company codes belong to what sales organization, what is the text for each sales organization, the company code belongs to what currency. So in here we have two attribute tables. These are the technical names of the tables. And we have two text tables. Now, for any given requirement, first we need to analyze how these tables are interrelated to each other. Now the company code ID is in this company code ID to company code ID, sales organization ID to sales organization ID, and I'm just trying to explain the relationship. Currency ID to currency ID. So this is the foreign key. So this is the primary key and foreign key. Primary key and foreign key. Primary key and foreign key. And this is the primary key, and this one is the foreign key. So in this way we can get relationships and finally display the required data that the end user has asked or the client has asked. So once we design whether it can be a standard tables or whether it can be a custom tables, any kind of tables, first we need to identify tables, identify the columns inside the tables, and identify the relationship between these tables. Thus we are trying to develop one example from very basic and very from scratch. So first we need to find out whether we have these tables here. So let me go back to HANA Studio. So first, where should we find tables? Now as you know, already we know the tables T001, TBKO, TBKOT and TCURT. So we need to find from catalog. So if you expand the catalog and if you go to the schema HANA user, if you go to the schema HANA user, then if you go to tables, so first we need to find out whether we have these tables here or not. Obviously we would have, but just to find out. Now if you want to see these tables, because there are more than, you see if you expand these tables, if you try to find, let's see T001, so it doesn't show this table because it only limits to 1000. 1000 tables are already reached. So in order to display these tables, what you can do is just we can right click on the tables and click on filters. So once you click on a filter, T001, click on OK. So you have T001 over here. Double click on this table wherein you have BUKRS, BU text. Let's take the second table, filter, TVKO, OK, TVKOT. So sales organization tables. So in this way you have all these tables in this schema. So next is we would like to access these tables where in the content. As I told you, we are going to access this as we discussed. So we are basically building a company code. So in FI, I'm going to right click on this, create another package for master data. I'm just creating a sub package to create a master data. Click OK and right click on the sub package, new, and create an attribute view. So we are going to use these tables inside this attribute view because all these tables are master data tables. So let's click on the attribute view. So attribute views are also information views. So if the information view, you're designing for master data, then it is called as attribute view. So let's take this as, let's give a name, AT. Always the best practice to start an attribute view with AT underscore company code. This is the technical name and description. View type is an attribute view. Subtype is standard. And click finish. So what I will do now, we'll take a quick break here. We're at this point of time. Let's take a quick break, and then we will again discuss from the attribute view what are the different options available, how to create an attribute view, how to define relationships once we come back from the break. So meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can post in the chat box. So we'll come back at 9 o'clock. Just give me 1 minute. Start session. Just give me 1 minute. We'll start the session. So until now, what we have seen, let me just recap for 2 minutes. So we started with what is a package. Package is nothing but to group together related information. Like these are different subject areas. We are trying to group these information views which belong to different subject area. And then we started to understand in the catalog you have tables, in content you have information views. Information views which use master data tables. Information views which use master data tables. These views are known as attribute views. For that we have taken an example on how to create an attribute view with an example called company code. So in order to create an attribute view, let me delete this and recreate. Not to delete, just you have to close everything. Just right click in order to close all the tabs over here. Just to close all the tabs, right click on any tab, click close all. In order to delete this object, just right click on this, you can delete this object and click yes. So once you have done, now let's come back again, right click on the package, new, attribute view, AT underscore. You always best practice to start with AT underscore company code. Give the name and the label. And click finish. Once we click finish, then at the data foundation, click on the plus icon, which is add objects. So you're trying to add what? We're trying to add, click on the plus icon to add tables. So tables are in catalog. So let us add T001. We're trying to add T001 table. From what is the schema? HANA user is a schema. So T001 from HANA user. Click OK. So what is a data foundation? A data foundation is a place where you can add tables. So a data foundation you can see in the scenario pane. So when you add a table, you can see this in a details pane. Any selections made to this table, we can see in the output pane. The properties of this table, you can see in the properties. So properties of the attribute view, you can see over here. So in scenario pane, this is mainly to build. The details of the scenario pane you can see in details. Any selections that you make, you can see in the output pane. And this is the properties pane of the attribute view. A data foundation is a place where you define a relationship between tables. You're creating a foundation for data by defining relationship between different master data tables. So when you see the definition of an attribute view, it's a reusable dimension. That is the first point. The second point is to join master data tables to each other. So let us take a few more tables based on our requirement. Let us add few more tables. TVKO, which is sales organization attribute table. Click on the plus icon again. TVKOT. From HANA user, click OK. Click on the plus icon again. TCURT. From HANA user, click OK. So once this is done, now you see all these 4 tables that we added over here are in the details pane. Now if you want to have more working space, you can, this is HANA Studio is very interactive. You can, it's very flexible to use. You can minimize this. Just try to minimize. You can just minimize this as well. So you have these 4 tables in the data foundation. So the next thing is defining relationship between these tables. So in order to define relationship between these tables, let's add BUKRS. BUKRS with BUKRS. Company code ID with company code ID. So this is a sales organization table. Let's add VKORG, just drag and drop. This is, we are defining relationship between tables. VKORG to VKORG. So this table, I'll just bring it to this side. So we are just trying to understand how SAP has delivered this RDS. So they have built all this RDS in similar fashion. SAP already delivered a lot of standard RDS. We're just trying to see one of the standard RDS for company code. Rapid deployment solution. So WAERS with WAERS. So in here, we have joined company code table with sales organization table to sales organization text table, from company code table to company code table text. Sorry, currency text table. Company code table to currency text table. So once you define the joins, now once we identify the relationship between these tables, now if we select this join, so BUKRS, if you take an example, like let me right click on the table, click on data preview, Let us click on data preview on the table. Click on raw data. Now let me filter on a single value. Here you have add filters. Click on add filter. Click on the company code. Click on the BUKRS. And let's take one company code. So click on show list of values. Click on select 1000 values. These are selected values. So take this side and click OK. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to understand data. So we are trying to understand the sample data over here. If the company code 1000, the text for company code is IDS AG. So can we join the company code ID, which is BUKRS, in order to get the sales organization? So the company code is 1000. So let me go back to the paint. The company code here is 1000. And let's go to the other table, which is TVKO. So the company code here is 1000. If the company code 1000, you're trying to define a relationship between a BUKRS of T001 and BUKRS of TVKO, then what should be the relation between these both tables should be? The relation between both these tables are, it should get common values. Whatever the company code that is over here, you need to get the common company code between both these tables and then display sales organization under each company code. So when you have a company code 1000, you need to have the same company code 1000, and this 1000 has how many sales organizations? So what are we trying to do? We're trying to take common company codes between both these tables and then display sales organizations. So this kind of relationship technically in HANA, in a database, this is known as common values between both the columns. This kind of relationship is known as inner join. So inner join is a join that you basically get common values between both the tables. So inner join nothing but common values between both the tables. So let's go back to 1000. Let's click back. Let us right click on TVKO. Click data preview. Click on raw data. Click on add filters. Click BUKRS. Click on show list of values. Select 1000 company code. Selected value. Click OK. So if you see, you have 7 rows for one company code. So the company code 1000 is associated to 7 sales organizations. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to create a relationship between T001 and TVKO. You want to get the common company codes between both these tables. Then the type of join should be an inner join. And then it displays the sales organizations under these company codes. So let's come back. So what is the relationship? T001 and TVKO. Select this join. So at the bottom you have join type. In the properties pane, you have what's the join type between both of them. The join type is a inner join. So that is the business requirement. So business requirement to display for each company code how many sales organizations, because we would like to get common values between both these columns. Join type is an inner join. So we are done with both of these tables. Now let us go to the next table. TVKO and TVKOT. Now again let us right click on the table and data preview. Click on raw data. Again let me add filter. Company code 1000. Again we know now we'll directly enter the entry 1000 and click enter. If you know, you can just enter and enter. So if the company code is 1000, then you have 7 sales organizations. Now what is the requirement from business user is, it is only showing you the IDs over here. It is not displaying the text. But it is important for us to even display the text for these company codes. But these texts are not available in this table, but they are available in another table, which is TVKOT. So VKORG from TVKO table and VKORG from TVKOT table. So we need to define relationship between both these tables. So here you have 7 sales organizations. Now let us take one of the sales organization, which is, let us take CPC1. CPC1 is one of the sales organization. So if CPC1 is one of the sales organization, then you'll also have the same CPC1 in the text table. So what is the text for CPC1 is what vtext will provide us. But what is the relationship between both these VKORG from TVKO and VKORG from TVKOT? The relationship is a text join. So in here, you're getting the common values between both these tables, then this is known as an inner join. Because both these are attribute tables. But when you're joining an attribute table with a text table, and even here you're trying to get a common value between this table and this table, CPC1 and CPC1, even both are common. But additional, what we are trying to do over here is, additionally we are trying to get text. Now if you see this table TVKOT, let's go back to TVKOT table. So from this table all I require is the company code and the sales organizations in company code. I take an example CPC1. Let's click back. Let's go to the last table let's go to this one, which is TBKOT. Let me right click on this table and data preview. Again, click on raw data. Click on add filters. Click on VKORG. Click on VKORG as a filter. Now what is the company code? What is the sales organization? CPC1. Enter. Now if you see here, a sales organization like CPC1 is showing you in different descriptions over here. It is showing you in Chinese, it's showing you in Japanese, this Chinese, it's showing you in Japanese. But why would we like to see one company code in different descriptions? Obviously, a user will not be interested to see one company code at the same time in different descriptions. So additionally, when you add a filter on SPRAS, which is PRAS, which is a language column, click on this, click on the show list of values and click English. So I would like to see the description of CPC1 in English. So we are seeing description in English. Click OK. So CPC1 is nothing but Germany, Frankfurt. So what is a text join is it gets the common values between both the tables, and additionally on top of it, it restricts the language column based on the user session. If a user is an English user, it will show the text in English. If the user is in Chinese user, for example, if I change this to Chinese or any other language, if I change this to Chinese, it's going to show you in Chinese description. So what is a text join? A text join gets the common value CPC1 and CPC1 from both these tables. Additionally, it is going to show text, and this text is based on what is the user session. So user is an English user, it will show descriptions in English. If user is a Chinese user, it will show the descriptions in Chinese. A text join dynamically recognizes from the user logon session. If I'm a user, if my name is Nagarjuna, and then I'm from US, let's say. So if I'm an English user, so I'm providing all the details. So I'm providing the username, password, what language I would like to see, English. So this English, when I'm trying to provide in the logon language, so this English will be taken inside the text join dynamically, and it only shows, just I'm doing manually over here. So it will pass this value to this and show the description. So if I click on this, if I click on restore over here, and if I go to the top, if I right click on the instance, please see here, when I right click on the instance, click on properties, click on additional properties. So what is the local A? The local A in this case is English. Now you have other languages as well, like Chinese. If a Chinese user logs in as Chinese, then it will show the descriptions in Chinese. So the relation between TVKO and TVKOT, it gets the common values. Now if you only get a common values, then it becomes inner join. On top of it, you want to show descriptions based on the user session, and whenever you join an attribute table with a text table, because for one key you have multiple texts and you only want to display text in a specific language, in that language is derived from the user session, then that is a text join. So simply to say in very simple terms, text join is an inner join which get common values. On top of it, it derives the language from user session to restrict on the descriptions. So let's come back. Click on back. Select this join. Join type. Select this as inner join. Sorry, select this as text join. Select this as text join and language column. Language column. So what is the language column? SPRAS. SPRAS is nothing but the language column. So given as SPRAS, so we need to provide this. Otherwise, if we don't provide, it will throw an error. So this is default. This is standard practice. So text join is a join. Takes the common values between both the tables. On top of it, restricts based on user session. So user session is derived from SPRAS. So just we can remember blindly, whenever you want to join an attribute table with a text table, always it is a text join. Just remember this. Whenever you want to join an attribute table with a text table, always it is a text join. Now coming to the last one. What is the relationship between T001 and TCURT? Obviously, this is a text table. So click on the join. Join type is a text join. The language column is SPRAS. Because it's a text table. So from this table, what are we trying to get? Each company code is associated with what currency? WARS is currency column. You right click on the table, open data preview, click on raw data, click on add filters, click on company code 1000, enter. Company code is 1000. The currency is euro, WARS is euro. So what is the text for this? Euro. Click back, right click on the table, open data preview, click on raw data. So these are different text for currencies. Add filter, WARS is euro, enter. Add SPRAS, SPRAS, English, select the value, click OK. So here it shows you SPRAS is English and this is the text. So that's the output of this join. So once we have done, click back. So once we have done, now we added tables based on the user requirement. We identified the conditions, and finally we need to select, because obviously we don't require all the columns from these. We only want the selected columns or the required columns by business. So what has business asked us is company code ID, company code text, sales organization ID. So please see, I'm trying to highlight over here. So whenever I'm trying to highlight, you see we can see these columns in the output. Company code ID, company code text, sales organization ID, and sales organization text. vText, and currency ID and currency text. So once we are done, click on once we are done. So whatever the selections that we have made over here, all these selected columns will be available in the output, which is nothing but the semantics. Click on the semantics and all these columns will be available in the output. So in the company code attribute view, BUKRS is the primary key. Now it's a key attribute. It's unique, it's a key attribute. So we need to provide at least one key attribute. So obviously in the company code attribute view, BUKRS will be the company code ID. So once we define this, finally click on save and validate, and then click on save and activate. And finally click on restore. Click on restore button over here to see whether the activation is completed successfully or not. Once the activation is completed successfully, minimize this, and then let us go to the package. Let us go to the package. So under FI master data, expand this. So in here you have the company code attribute view, which is activated. We join all these tables. So what's the definition of an attribute view? Attribute view is a reusable dimension. You can reuse company code master data across different subject areas. And this is where you join master data tables to each other. You're trying to join master data tables to each other. You want to see the output, right click on this and click data preview. Click on data preview. Click on raw data. So let us do a sample unit test. Let us do a unit test. Click on add filters. filter on company code BUKRS, give the 1000 company code, click enter. Now do we see, based on the customer requirement, what's the company code, what's the text for the company code, in each company code how many sales organizations, each sales organization is associated with what currency, and what is the text for the currency. So by joining all these tables based on the customer requirement, we have achieved to create the company code attribute view. So I also would like to show you the functionality of the text join. Now in this case, the descriptions are shown in English. The reason being because we logged in system. When you right click on the instance, click properties. In here, you click on the additional properties. The local is English. So that is the reason the descriptions in here are shown in English. But if I change this to a different descriptions, to a different language, when I change this, so right now I'm logged in as Chinese user, click apply, click OK. Give the package name, so go to the package, expand the package, expand again, just right click on this, let us re-preview data preview. Let's see this time the descriptions are shown in which language. And let's add filter on company code again. Let's give the company code 1000, click enter. Now please see, it is showing in Chinese. So whatever descriptions are there in the table, it's showing in Chinese. So that is the functionality of text join. So based on user session, it restricts for SPRAS, and SPRAS will restrict to user session and gives the language. So any questions you may have until here, please ask me. So I'm just trying to show you from scratch how these data models from end to end, from right from the table in looking to details of the table, and then we're going to the next level of creating information view, and how all these things are related to. Coming to the next class, we are going to see how all these things are related to finally the origin of the product, which is S4 HANA. So, so I would like to also, at this point of time, I would also like to highlight you have different methods that you can do master data modeling. So this is one of the way that I'm trying to show you. I'll also show you a different way how you can do this modeling using something called a calculation view. The master data can also be, you can also use master data not only in the attribute views, but also at the calculation views. So before that, I would like to share some information on the calculation view. So whenever you would like to go to the initial screen, which is quick launch, click on window, click on reset perspective. Just you're trying to get to the default perspective. Click yes. So you go to the default perspective, which is the initial screen. Just to show you again, click on window, click on reset perspective. So here you have something called a calculation view. Let me give you a brief introduction. Calculation views are used to create your own data foundation using other views or database tables. A calculation view can join several fact tables. A calculation view can be created as a graphical view or as a scripted view. So just to highlight few important points over here. In a calculation view, also you can use database tables. These calculation views, when you right click on the package, new, create a calculation view. Here you see a data category. The data category here is a dimension. In here also you can model for master data. So what I'm trying to highlight over here is data category, when you create a calculation view, is a dimension. When you double click on an attribute view, click on the semantics, the data category also is a dimension. So you have two views which take care of master data. One is an attribute view, the second one is a calculation view. So I just want to finish these fundamentals. So it'll take some time. So probably in the next session, what we'll do is we'll quickly go through the calculation view, and then I will try to create one model on transaction data. And then we will see the integration of all this to the next level. So meanwhile, you have any questions, please ask me. So tables like T001, VKORG gets data from where? So usually you have a front-end application. So from the front-end application where the users or the business will start creating different orders. This is all taken care in the front-end Fury. Yes, exactly. HANA Studio does help in understanding the concepts because this is what everything in the backend that HANA does. Also, we need to know, just we are trying to understand from scratch for the learning purpose. And tomorrow, in any of the project, in order to understand the complete end-to-end scenario, right from the table until the front-end configuration, so that we have all the fundamentals, so it will be very easy to understand the entire process, end-to-end process. So I think we will take one more session for HANA Studio, and then we'll go to the S4 HANA. So both the integration between the HANA Studio, so S4 HANA itself is inbuilt into the HANA Studio. S4 HANA itself is inbuilt into HANA Studio. So later we'll see standard, which is known as HANA Live. So after this we will see HANA Live, and after HANA Live, how S4 HANA evolved to the entire HANA Studio. Because S4 HANA is also the part of HANA Studio. The entire business suite is inside the HANA database itself. The entire business suite. So in order to understand to the next level, we go for X4 HANA, HANA Live, and after HANA Live, go to S4 HANA. Thank you so much for attending today's session. If you do not have any questions, I will end this session. And please go through HA100 material at your free time. And also, I uploaded yesterday video. Today video also will get uploaded. And see you in the next week. Thank you. And have a nice weekend. Thanks everyone.